Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Bruce Hurst Field down here in St. George, Utah for the Red Rock Classic. It's Taylorsville against Spanish Fork, and the first hitter of the game, Caleb Schulte, lines a hard one right at Tay Newman, who gloves it for the first out of the inning. And we're underway here just a couple of minutes early. We're scheduled for about a 2:30 first pitch, and we got up and going at 2:28. And so now that will bring up Hunter Smith. Pitching this afternoon for Spanish Fork, as the first pitch is in there for a strike, it's going to be the left-hander, number 20, Mason Olson, will make the start for Spanish Fork, and the 0-1 pitch on its way is going to be a high chopper on the infield. Olson off the mound will turn and throw to first, and is going to get Hunter Smith by maybe a half a step. That extra kind of delay there on the throw almost maybe cost Mason Olson the out there, and there's quickly two away here in the top of the first inning. And that will bring up number 19, Ryan Feeney, here for Taylorsville. Taylorsville wearing the blue tops and the gray pants. Spanish Fork in the all gray uniforms. And the pitch is pulled and turned foul by Feeney down the left field line. No balls and a strike. The count here on Ryan Feeney here for Taylorsville. Taylorsville coming out of Classification 6A Region 3. The 0-1 pitch, a slow breaking ball that settles over for a called strike, and it's no balls and two strikes here on Feeney. Taylorsville played already once earlier this morning as the 0-2 pitch comes. The fastball misses high, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. The count here on Feeney. Infield back for Spanish Fork here in the top of the first inning. And the 1-2 pitch on its way, right on the outside corner. That one just missing for a ball. And the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes here on Feeney. An overcast day here in St. George as the breaking ball's lifted out to left, coming in a few steps and running under it to make the play in left field is Sage Olson, and the top of the first inning comes to an end. Taylorsville goes down 3 up, 3 down, and the Spanish Fork Dons will be coming up here on Spanish Fork 17. Let's take a moment, though, to thank our sponsors for making each and every broadcast possible here on Spanish Fork 17. We want to thank the Tony Basso Auto Group, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, 2 Jack's Pizza, McKell, Chris Jansen, and Wise, Attorneys at Law, Dickerson Automotive, and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance. We're grateful for their support. We also want to remind you this game today is being broadcast live on YouTube, youtube.com/SpanishFork17. If friends and family can't make it to the game and maybe live outside the city of Spanish Fork, well, they have another way of listening here to this one, as the Spanish Fork Dons will be coming up. It will be Dylan Healy, the pitcher today for the Taylorsville Warriors. Healy, a right-hander, will go to work here. In a tournament setting like this, it does test some pitching depth. We'll go ahead here and give you the starting lineup for Spanish Fork. Leading off will be the third baseman, Tay Newman. Andrew Pintar hits in the 2 spot. Cy Nielsen, the right fielder, will hit third. The first baseman, Dylan Lee, hits 4th. Josh Cowden will DH and hit 5th. Dylan Hall, the second baseman, will hit 6th. Sage Olson in left field hits 7th. Skylar Hodrein, the catcher, will hit 8th. And then the center fielder, Riley Hess, will bat 9th for the Dons. Right here as they throw down, and Tay Newman will get ready here to stand in the box. Will be the first opportunity here we'll have a first opportunity here to see right here as Tay Newman stands in. Dylan Healy ready to go on the mound, and the bottom of the first inning underway. A first pitch fastball that misses outside for ball 1. It's 1 ball and no strikes. The count here on Tay Newman. And Newman rolls this one down the third baseline fair. It's going to go past the third baseman down to the left field corner. Newman will round first and will be there with a stand-up leadoff double. And Spanish Fork has their first runner in scoring position. The first batter in the game, as that one just got past a good diving attempt there by Hunter Smith at third base. He just couldn't quite come up with it there for the first out, or to be able to keep that one on the infield. And now Andrew Pintar will come to the plate. Pintar stands in here from the right side, that slightly open stance. He's going to square around and show bunt, pulls it back, and takes it high for ball one. The breeze blowing pretty good here in St. George this afternoon. We've had a couple of passing rain showers in the previous game. Here's the 1-0 pitch, about ready to come home to Pintar, and Healy will look the runner back to second. One ball and no strikes, the count here on Andrew Pintar. Healy delivers this one home, and Pintar hits this one out to left. Going back on it, it's going to one hop and go to the wall. Tay Newman will come around third and will trot home for the game's first run. It's 1-0 Dons here in the first. Back-to-back doubles, and Pintar hit that ball pretty well out to left field and gets the run home. And Spanish Fork takes the 1-0 lead. Not much out there, that as that was Tyler Radha out in left field, who just couldn't quite get there to make a play on it. And now Cy Nielsen will come to the dish. Nielsen again with that open stance. That one comes in and misses low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. The count here on Cy Nielsen. Healy ready to go, and the pitch on its way, and Nielsen lifts this one to left field. This one going to be in more shallow left field, coming in trying to make a diving attempt to the shortstop. He can't get there. Andrew Pintar came around third base, I think was holding to see if the ball was going to come down, and the shortstop for Taylorsville, that is Caleb Schulte, is down in left field. He made a diving attempt on a ball that really was the only play he was going to be able to make in order to try to come up with that. It was going to be a long run out there for Radha to come in on, and the ball just kind of fell out there in left field. Schulte looks to be okay walking under his own power, but as he heads back to the infield quickly, the Taylorsville head coach coming out to have a quick conversation with him here. Probably to make sure he's okay after that diving attempt here. Andrew Pintar was running on at second base, had to wait at first to see if the ball was going to drop. And then when the ball did drop, Pintar was coming around third. They were going to send him, but then the throw came in, and Andrew Pintar has to hold at third base. 1 run in for Spanish Fork. Now runners on at first and second. Cy Nielsen advancing to second on the play, and the first baseman Dylan Lee will come to the plate. Already testing Taylorsville here, who their morning game against Palo Verde High School in the Las Vegas area did not go very well earlier this morning. And the pitch on its way home. Lee hits this one well to left. Radha takes a step back. Now comes charging in to make the catch. Andrew Pintar will come in to tag from third base. It's 2-0 Spanish Fork on a sacrifice fly there from Dylan Lee. And Cy Nielsen tries to make a late break for third, and he's going to be thrown out there as the throw came in. So Cy Nielsen retired for the second out of the inning on the relay throw, and now with 2 gone here in the first inning, it will bring up the designated hitter Josh Cowden. So Cowden will stand in here from the left side with 2 away and 2 Spanish Fork runs in here in the early going. And the pitch on its way is going to bounce in there for a ball. It's 1 ball and no strikes, the count. The 1-0 pitch missing for a ball 2. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Here, the pace today you may see a little bit quicker than in some of our games yesterday. Is that one in there? Misses for a ball, and it's 3-0 here on Josh Cowden. And that's because, first off, these games have a time limit to it. As the 3-0 pitch comes in, that one just off the, or gets in there for a called strike. And so you're going to see maybe people try to go a little bit quicker, try to push the pace where this game doesn't end in any sort of a short because of time. The high fastball misses ball 4, and Josh Cowden is aboard here with a 2-out walk. And that's going to bring up Dylan Hall, the second baseman. Spanish Fork today wearing these gray tops with black numbers that say Spanish Fork across the chest. A little bit different look than oftentimes we see white uniforms, or sometimes we see the red ones. And Spanish Fork, I think it's added a black top as well with red. And the first pitch on its way is going to get in there for a called strike to Dylan Hall, I mean. So lots of different uniforms for Spanish Fork. As the Dons will play 2, they'll play this one against Taylorsville, then they'll come back to play in the next ball game against Timpanogos. There's a ground ball. It's going to go up the middle. Getting behind it is Schulte, the second baseman, makes a long throw, but it's not going to be in time to get there. The runner, Dylan Hall, and now runners on at first and second for Spanish Fork, and Taylorsville right now trying to find a way to see if they can get out of the inning. And now Sage Olson, now the left fielder, will come to the plate. Spanish Fork with 2 runs in on 4 hits here in the inning. Healy ready to go on the mound, checks the runner and comes home to Olson, and that one gets in there for a called strike. It's 0-1 here on Sage Olson. Josh Cowden at second. Dylan Hall running at first here for Spanish Fork. The 0-1 pitch about ready to come home as Healy comes in, and that one in there again at the knees for a called strike. And it's 0-2 the count here on here on Sage Olson. Skylar Horrein on deck here for Spanish Fork. Pitch on its way, and Olson swings through it and comes up empty, and the inning comes to an end. Healy gets his first strikeout, but Spanish Fork scores 2. At the end of 1, Spanish Fork 2, Taylorsville 0. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Well, the start of the top of the second inning here at Brucehurst Field in St. George, as the sun that we had yesterday has given away to overcast skies, but nonetheless we have high school baseball for you here on Spanish Fork 17. Hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday, as Spanish Fork right now has jumped out to an early 2-0 lead here on Taylorsville, as it will be Brock DeGuer to stand in and lead it off here for Taylorsville. The first pitch there to DeGoyer is in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 here on the cleanup hitter for Taylorsville. The 0-1 pitch from Mason Olson is in there for a called strike, and the count moves quickly to 0-2 here on DeGoyer. DeGoyer's playing in center field today for Taylorsville. There sees a high fastball. He just kind of turns out of the way for ball one. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on DeGoyer. Mason Olson, the left-hander, comes home. Breaking ball right off the plate. That one evens up for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2 pitch on its way home. That one's going to be a high chopper on the infield. Pintar, back of second base, will quickly throw over to first. Dylan Lee stretched for it and gets him. And there's 1 away here in the second inning on the ground out. And that's going to bring up Tyler Radha, the left fielder. Radha playing in left field for the Taylorsville Warriors. Will stand in here, slightly open stance, and the pitch on its way. In there for a called strike at the knees. No balls and 1 strike here on Tyler Radha. Here's the 0-1 pitch on its way home. Fastball lined right back up the middle for a base hit. Radha was all over that one, and Taylorsville has their first hit against Mason Olson and their first base runner here of the afternoon with a hard hit single back up the middle, and that will bring up Jacob Adair, the first baseman. Adair stands in here from the left side, lefty versus lefty matchup. As the pitch comes in, Adair pulls that one deep into the hole. It's going to be bobbled by the second baseman Hall, and there will be no play. And I would imagine that's going to be the game's first error here against Spanish Fork. And that's something that we saw here on Spanish Fork 17 on Thursday night. Really plagued Spanish Fork against American Fork. And the Cavemen were able to find a way to take advantage with a big 4-run 5th inning, as it will be the right fielder Griffin Windward to come to the plate here. So Taylorsville with 1 out, runners on at first and second. The pitch pulled over towards third. Newman touches third base for 1, throws across the diamond to first in time for the 5-3 double play, and that will end the threat here in the second inning. So Taylorsville will find a way to get 1 man on, but the double play ends the inning. At the end of an inning and a half, Spanish Fork leading Taylorsville by a score of 2-0. Let's thank our sponsors here who are so helpful in making these broadcasts possible. We have 2 Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, Dickerson Automotive, Tony Basso, the Auto Group, 2 Jacks Pizza, and Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law. We thank everybody for making these broadcasts possible each and every, week or so here on Spanish Fork 17, as we try to bring you live sports coverage throughout football, basketball, baseball, and of course some softball in there as well. A lot of the area schools down here this time of year for different tournaments. Of course, we were over yesterday with Desert Hills High School with the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles, who are playing in the semifinals of their tournament today over at Desert Hills. They played earlier this morning, and I'm not sure how that one turned out, but I'm trying to think of who they, and the name escapes me at this time about who they were going to play in that ball game. We move here to the bottom of the second inning. It will be Skylar Horrein to lead it off here. Riley Hess and Tay Newman coming up 8, 9, and 1 here for Spanish Fork. So Horrein to stand in here for Spanish Fork. From the right side of the plate, a slightly open stance, and the first pitch on its way home is going to miss for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Spanish Fork had 3 doubles in that first inning that helped get 2 runs in, and the pitch on its way misses low for a ball, and the count moves to 2 balls and no strikes. When you get this late into a tournament, it will, you talk about these teams being 3rd and 4th games, the 1-2 pitch inside and tight, and it hits Hornrine. He'll go to first base here after the hit by pitch, and the leadoff man on here for Spanish Fork. And we'll see here Noah Conway, number 19, come in to run over at first base as center fielder Riley Hess will come in. Conway will run speed up over at first base here for the Spanish Fork catcher, and here is Riley Hess. Dylan Healy from the stretch. Hess squares around to lay down the bunt, and he will put it right out in front of home plate. Healy will field it, take a couple, makes a kind of a low underhand toss to Adair, but it's in time for the first out of the inning. And Noah Conway will move up 90 feet there on the sacrifice bunt. One away, here's Tay Newman. Newman in his first at-bat doubled and then came around to score the game's first run for Spanish Fork. Newman, a pretty even stance in the batter's box. And the first pitch, Healy checks the runner and comes home, and Newman hits that one hard again. Diving stop made by Smith. He gets to his feet, and the runner's caught. Noah Conway slipped in the dirt. Now they'll chase him down, and they'll apply the tag as Newman will move up to second base. So Conway's out between second and third. Tay Newman will end up reaching on what I would imagine will end up being ruled a fielder's choice. And then Newman alertedly, once Noah Conway got into a rundown, he was able to get into scoring position out at second base. So 2 away, and here's Andrew Pintar. Pintar had an RBI double in his first at-bat as he had a deep shot to left center field, as Healy will turn and look the runner back to second base, as the second baseman Jordan Beckstead wasn't quite on the bag to receive a throw. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning, a 2-0 Spanish Fork lead. Pintar hits this one out to left. Radha coming in, he'll run under and makes the catch, and the inning comes to an end. Spanish Fork got the leadoff man on, but a couple of base running mistakes have hurt the Dons early. It's Spanish Fork 2, Taylorsville 0. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Wild Mustangs. They're supposed to be one of the most gentle creatures in nature.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these. That's why more people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm.
Call State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Well, we move to the top of the third inning here at Dixie State University and Bruce Hurst Field. The Taylorsville Warriors and the Spanish Fork Dons, as you see head coach Casey Nelson right there looking at that lineup card outside the Spanish Fork dugout, as now it will bring up Jordan Beckstead for Taylorsville, the 8-hole hitter. Will lead off the third inning here against Mason Olson, and the first pitch Olson now ready to go, and the pitch on its way. Fastball stays high for a ball. It's 1 ball and no strikes here on Jordan Beckstead. Beckstead, a slightly open stance here as the 1-0 pitch comes in. That one in there for a called strike, right in at the knees, and the count evens up here at 1 ball and 1 strike on Jordan Beckstead. Good sized crowd filling the stadium today as the 1-1 pitch missed for a ball. It's 2-1, the count here on Jordan Beckstead. Lots of blankets, lots of sweatshirts. It's not the most warm day, just here at the ballpark, as the 2-1 pitch on its way home misses high, ball 4. So ball 4 right there to Jordan Beckstead, and Taylorsville has the leadoff man on for the first time this afternoon, And now that's going to bring up Gabe Johnson, the catcher. Johnson will put the front foot in and then pulled the front foot out. As Johnson will stand back in, and now Mason Olson saying something out there to the center fielder. It looks like trying to get Riley Hess in the position that they want Riley Hess in, and the pitch is going to be bunted right down the third baseline. Olson's going to have to hurry the throw. It's going to be close. It's off the glove of Lee and down the left or right field line. Going to third will be Jordan Beckstead. The throw comes in to the infield, and now we have runners on at first and third. Nobody out here for Taylorsville. And Mason Olson right there will now get a visit from Coach Nelson coming out of the dugout. They're going to rule that. It looks like an E1 against Gabe Johnson on the, or against Mason Olson there on the throw. In fact, that may be here. We'll have to kind of sort some things out here. They've put the error on the scoreboard. They also have put the base hit, so they may be saying that Johnson beats it out and the throwing, that's what, okay. Johnson gets credit for the hit, and the error allows the runner to move from second to third, and that's what happens there. Is conference on the mound is over. Taylorsville and a big opportunity here to try to get a run back with Caleb Schulte. And that one's lifted out to left field. And going back on it is Sage Olson. He'll make the catch. Tagging and coming in to score from third is Jordan Beckstead, and the Taylorsville Warriors are on the board. That's a good job of situational hitting for Schulte, understanding that he doesn't necessarily need another hit there to get that run home, but understanding a fly ball to the outfield is good enough to get the run home, and right there, that's exactly what he does. And with one gone, it will bring up Hunter Smith. Smith 0 for 1, bounced out to Tay Newman in his first at bat, as Mason Olson will throw over to first, and that gets Johnson diving back. Pitch on its way right on the outside corner. In fact, I think Cole Nebeker, number 30, is running speed up over at first for Gabe Johnson. So Nebeker gets his lead at first, being held on by Dylan Lee. The snap throw over, and back standing there is Nebeker. Two-1 lead here for Spanish Fork. And the pitch swung out and missed as Hunter Smith swings through it, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. The count here on Hunter Smith. 1 away here in the top of the third inning. Double play depth for Spanish Fork up the middle. That one's going to be foul tipped into the glove for strike 3, and there's 2 gone here in the inning. That is the first strikeout for Mason Olson on the afternoon, and with 2 outs in the inning, it brings up Ryan Feeney. Olson's first pitch there, again, paints the inside corner for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Ryan Feeney. Over at first base is Nebeker getting his lead, as Feeney, with that slightly open stance in the box, comes in. That one's rolled foul over towards third base coach's box. Tay Newman will pick it up. Big hole on the right side of the infield with Lee holding on the runner. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball stays high and outside for a ball, and the count moves to 1-2 here on Feeney. We have doubleheader action today of Spanish Fork baseball coming up, scheduled for a 5 p.m. first pitch, so in just a couple hours from now, Spanish Fork against Timpanogos as Feeney swings through it and misses. Mason Olson gets back-to-back strikeouts here to end the third inning. The Warriors get one back, however, here in the third, which ends up being a big run right there for Taylorsville to get something positive going offensively. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17 and thank our sponsors for their willingness to help get high school sports on the air. We have the Tony Basso Auto Group, Dickerson Automotive, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, Triple T Heating, Cooling and Plumbing, MVP Sports, and Two Jacks Pizza. We also want to remind you, you can catch our broadcast live on our YouTube page, youtube.com/SpanishFork17, to catch up with live shows, archived broadcasts, and much more on our YouTube page. Also, look at our Facebook and Instagram pages as well, where you can catch up with our Spanish Fork 17 staff, and also you can see different things about upcoming shows and events that we have here on Spanish Fork 17. Moving to the bottom of the third inning here at Bruce Hurst Field and at Dixie State University. Cy Nielsen, you see him there getting loose. He will lead off for Spanish Fork. Nielsen just committing to play baseball up the road at Brigham Young University. For the Cougars, he will call Miller Park home for his college days, as BYU just put in the nice heated field, so that should be fun. I saw that the other night when UVU played BYU. It was fun to see that field and the new turf that they just put in right there. Cy Nielsen stands in the box ready to go, and Healy delivers the first pitch, which will go to the backstop for ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. The count there on Cy Nielsen. Nielsen doubled in his first at-bat, then was thrown out trying to get to third. That one inside and tight, but in there for a strike, and evens the count up at 1-1 here on Cy Nielsen. Healy kicks and delivers this one, and Nielsen makes contact there, just kind of fouls it away. It's 1-2 the count here on Cy Nielsen. Infield back here for Taylorsville in the bottom of the third inning. 2-1 lead for Spanish Fork. Dylan Healy ready to go, and he kicks and delivers this one, and Nielsen rolls it over to third. Up with it is Smith. He'll throw across the diamond in time there to get Cy Nielsen, and there's one away here in the third inning. So with one gone, it brings up first baseman Dylan Lee. Lee had a sacrifice fly in his first at-bat. It's one thing both teams have done a really good job of this afternoon, has been those kind of situational hitting, whether it be moving a base runner or having a runner at third base with less than 2 outs. They've done a nice job finding ways to get those runs in, as that one breaking ball comes in for ball one. It's 1-0 the count on Dylan Lee, and Gabe Johnson wants to go have a quick conversation here with his right-hander. As overcast high clouds are here in the St. George area today. It's a colder day down here in southern Utah. The pitch comes in, breaking ball, stays high, and it's 2-0 on Dylan Lee. A little worried when I checked the forecast yesterday, and it was talking about potential for some rain today. The 2-0 pitch turned foul, and we'll have a 2-1 pitch coming to Dylan Lee. And rain in baseball never really mixed, but in a tournament setting, rain can be really kind of very damaging to the tournament, because you have to either cancel games or move the schedule around, and that one swung out and missed, and the count moves to 2-2 on Dylan Lee. Sometimes finding an alternate location to play the game Sometimes that's an option as well. The 2-2 pitch on its way to Lee. He hits this one to left. Radha going back on it. He will get back on the warning track. Go up. It's off his glove. Lee will go into second as the throw comes in from Radha, and Dylan Lee is standing on at second base as Radha ran back well on the baseball and just, I think, had it go off the palm of his glove. And they will rule that. It looks like an E7 against Radha. So now we'll bring up Josh Cowden here for Spanish Fork. Cowden walked in his first plate appearance. Lee out at second base. And one away, Spanish Fork the home team, so we're in the bottom of the third. Pitch on its way, fastball just off the plate for ball one. 1 ball and no strikes here on Josh Cowden. Be a late night for those driving back to Spanish Fork tonight. The 1-0 pitch, ready to come home. Cowden swings, hits this one well out to right field. Chasing it is Windward. That ball's off the base of the wall. Lee will come around third base and will score. The throw is going to be cut off by Schulte. The throw to third to get Cowden is not in time. It's 3-1 Spanish Fork. Cowden hit that one well, didn't get a lot of elevation on it, but hit kind of a line drive out to right field, and it just went off the base of the wall. One thing I don't see here, and didn't see when we were here Thursday night, was there's no dimension marker on the outfield. But Cowden put that one right to the base of the wall. Here's Dylan Hall, the second baseman, stands in and takes ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. So the Dons able to strike again with their offense here to take a 3-1 lead here in the third. Hall ready to go, slightly open stance. The pitch on its way is going to miss for a ball. It's 2 balls and no strikes. The count here on Dylan Hall. Hall there taking all the way, and that one missing, ball 3. It's 3-0 on Dylan Hall. Taylorsville not playing the infield really in, but playing kind of medium deep on that infield. Something up the middle, and Hall will go down to first base. So Hall draws the base on balls, and now that will bring up left fielder Sage Olson. Olson, a strikeout victim in his first plate appearance. Getting the start in left field today for Spanish Fork. The pitch on its way. Olson makes contact, but fouls it away. No balls and a strike here on Sage Olson. Timpanogos, they're hanging around here. They'll play Spanish Fork coming up at 5 o'clock. Right here, and then that should be a fun one, a rematch of last year's 4A state championship game. The 0-1 pitch on its way, and Olson rolls this one foul. The T-Wolves, and I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit more as we get into that one, but Timpanogos moving classifications, moving up to 5A into Region 8. Leaving behind Orem and also Mountain View. As the 0-2 pitch comes in, and that one misses low for a ball. It's 1-2 on Olson. Kind of in a similar position that Spanish Fork was, or sorry, Maple Mountain and Springville were, leaving behind all the kind of traditional rivals. As that one's going to be lined into right center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Coming in to score from third is Cowden. Hall is going to go to third. The throw cut off by Schulte. Now they have him caught, but getting back in underneath the tag was Sage Olson, and it's 4-1 Spanish Fork. RBI single for Sage Olson. And now we'll have a visit out to the mound right here with 1 away in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And Dylan Healy has pitched, just has given up hits. That's been the big thing. Spanish Fork really earning everything that they've had so far with the bats. They've just found ways to hit the baseball well this afternoon, and that has kind of put Taylorsville in kind of a tough position. As Skylar Holrein will come to the plate. Holrein hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance. Then Noah Conway came in to run speed up. Runners on the corners with one gone. We'll see here if Spanish Fork tries to put this one in motion. The pitch on its way, low for a ball. Snap throw goes back down to third. It's kept on the infield there by Hunter Smith at third base. A dangerous throw, because if Smith doesn't keep it in front of him, it's down the line. And in that situation, Dylan Hall would have scored from third, and Sage Olson probably moves up to second. 1 ball and no strikes to count here on Holrein. Pitch on its way, blocked in the dirt, and down 2 balls and a strike here. 2 balls and no strikes on Holrein. A 4-1 lead for Spanish Fork here in the bottom of the third. 2 more runs in for the Dons. They've scored 2 in the first, 2 here in the third, and the breaking ball is going to settle in right on the inside corner for a called strike, and it's now 2-1 on the Spanish Fork catcher. Double play depth up the middle for Taylorsville, so they will take the ground ball and try to turn 2 and get out of it. Here's the 2-1 pitch on its way. There's a line shot right to third. Hunter Smith will throw across the diamond, but it won't be in time, and there's 2 outs in the inning as Skylar Holrein hit that one hard right at third, and a nice job there and a good heads-up play there by Hunter Smith, and now that will bring up the center fielder Riley Hess. Hess had a sacrifice bunt in his first plate appearance. Will stand in here with 2 outs in the inning. And the pitch on its way home to Hess is inside and low for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Against American Fork, Riley Hess was 1 for 2 with a walk and scored a run. That game being played Thursday night, the opening night here of the Red Rock Classic. The 1-0 pitch, and that one's down the left field line. That is going to roll for a while. Scoring on the play is Hall. Sage Olson, the ball's going to get deep in the corner. Sage Olson coming around third. He will score, and it is 6-1 Dons here in the third. A 2-run double from Riley Hess as the ball just kept rolling down in the corner, and it went into kind of the deepest pocket of the corner. You can kind of see where I'm talking about, just to the left of the foul pole. The ball just kind of rolled down into that corner, and Tyler Radha had a long run to go make a play on it. When he did, it was a little late to keep Sage Olson from scoring from first. Here's Tay Newman back to the top of the lineup, and the first pitch misses outside, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to count on Tay Newman. Newman 1 for 2 as a double and hit into a fielder's choice on the afternoon for Spanish Fork. The 1-0 pitch inside and tight. Newman will back out of the way and take ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. From the stretch, ready to go. Here's the 2-0 pitch on its way home. That one's going to be rolled over towards third. Fielded by the third baseman Smith. The throw in time to end the third inning. Spanish Fork, however, damage is done. 4 more for the Dons in the third. At the end of 3, Spanish Fork 6, Taylorsville 1. You're watching high school baseball here on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Well, the top of the fourth inning getting ready to start here, as you can tell, a very good contingent there of red here up as you just get to the right of the press box here. Lots of red hats with a D on it, and you can tell it's baseball season here in Spanish Fork, as it will be Brock DeGoyer to stand in and lead it off. And the first pitch to DeGoyer is in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. DeGoyer, Radha, and Adair coming up here, 4, 5, and 6 for Taylorsville, as the 0-1 pitch on its way home. That one blocked in the dirt for a ball, and the count moves to 1-1 here on DeGoyer. The left-hander, Mason Olson, going to work. There's a breaking ball, and that one's in there for a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on DeGoyer. Mason Olson kicks and delivers the pitch home. That's right there, called strike 3 on the inside corner. Mason Olson has his 3rd strikeout, and all of them have come in a row here in the ball game. The last 2 hitters of the 3rd inning, and then the 4th inning. And here's left fielder Tyler Radha. Radha 1 for 1, had a single in the 2nd. Got stranded on the base paths for Taylorsville. And the pitch on its way to Radha is going to be lifted into shallow center field. It's going to fall in front of Riley Hess, and Radha has his 2nd hit of the ball game. He's now 2 for 2 with that base hit here in the 4th inning. Taylorsville looking to try to see if they can get something going with the bats right now. The Warriors scored 1 back in the 3rd inning. That's their lone run of the ball game, as first baseman Jacob Adair comes to the plate. Adair reached on an error by Dylan Hall at second base. Mason Olson throws over. That one was low. Dylan Lee did a nice job there of making sure that one stayed in front of him. Lots of foul territory down that first baseline. If you throw it past the first baseman, you're going to give him at least 1 base. Adair there takes the first pitch low and inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Adair. One ball and no strikes here with 1 gone. And the pitch on its way. Adair swings through it, and the count evens up at 1-1. Double play depth here for the Dons up the middle. Obviously, with Lee holding the runner on as the throw will come over. A big hole on that right side of the infield for Adair. We'll see if Spanish Fork kind of counters that with maybe going low and away, making it a little more difficult for Adair to try to pull a baseball. This time Adair goes to center field. It's going to fall in front of Hess again for a base hit. And back-to-back base hits here by Taylorsville, and the Warriors have something going here with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. A nice job there as Griffin Windward, the right fielder, will step to the plate. Windward was up in the 2nd inning in a similar position. Radha and Adair had just gotten on base, and then it was Windward who grounded a ball right to Tay Newman, and Newman was able to turn 2. This one goes in the hole to Pintar. He goes to second for 1. The relay turn to first is not in time, as Windward able to beat it out. It was going to be a tough turn there. Dylan Hall was going to have to put a lot on the throw to first, and he made a good throw, but it just wasn't in time there to beat Windward. And so Adair retired for the 2nd out. Radha goes down to 3rd, and Jordan Beckstead stands in. Beckstead has walked and scored the lone run of the ball game here for Taylorsville. Pitch on its way. That one's going to be rolled foul over towards the Taylorsville dugout. DeGoyer there makes a nice kind of one-handed backhand play without a glove as he popped out of the dugout. No balls and a strike to count now on Jordan Beckstead. The 0-1's in there for a called strike, and it's 0-2 now on Beckstead. 6-1 lead for Spanish Fork here in the top of the 4th inning. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one low for a ball, and it's 1-2 the count here on Jordan Beckstead. Outfield kind of straight away for the most part. Breaking ball in there, called strike 3. Mason Olson froze him and gets his 4th strikeout. And once again, Taylorsville leaves a couple of runners on the base paths. They do pick up 2 hits in the inning. However, they strand 2. They've stranded 4 base runners on the afternoon. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning with Spanish Fork leading Taylorsville by a score of 6-1. Here on Spanish Fork 17, let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors for helping make possible what we do here on Spanish Fork 17. We have 2 Jacks Pizza, MVP Sports, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise, attorneys at law, the Tony Basso Auto Group, and Dickerson Automotive and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance. We thank everybody for making these broadcasts possible here as we try to produce good high school sports content for you here in the community. One of the ways we do that is by making our broadcast available on YouTube at youtube.com/SpanishFork17. You catch live broadcasts, and you can catch archive broadcasts as well. As our crew have made the trip out here. As right now you can see they're braving the cold today, all bundled up and ready to go here, as we've had a fun couple of days down here in St. George as we get ready here to wrap up our last few hours in St. George and head back up north. And should be fun and should be exciting, as good amount of people making the trip down here to hear from Spanish Fork for this. Last night we had the mayor on with us during the in-between innings of the Maple Mountain game. We were kind of talking about baseball in Spanish Fork and the rich history of baseball, and how good it is for the community as a whole to have both Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain and St. George and together really for 1 week out of the year. The first pitch to Andrew Pintar in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Pintar, who's 1 for 2. An RBI double in the first and a fly out to left in the second. The pitch inside and tight for a ball, and the count moves to 1-1. One ball and 1 strike, the count on Andrew Pintar, and the pitch on its way home. That one getting in there for a called strike, and it's 1-2. Pintar, Cy Nielsen, and Dylan Lee coming up. 2, 3, and 4 here for Spanish Fork in the 4th. Then the 1-2 pitch on its way. Pintar rolls this one, but it's going to be called foul at the plate. And Andrew Pintar will get another 1-2 pitch coming here momentarily. Infield back here for Taylorsville. And the 1-2 pitch on its way. Pintar hits that one deep in the hole. A nice backhanded play by Schulte. His throw is going to be in time to get Pintar. And there's one away here in the 4th inning. It took a kind of tough in-between hop there on Schulte at short. He had to make a quick last-second adjustment with the glove and was able to make a good throw across the diamond for the first out of the inning. And now that's going to bring up Cy Nielsen. Boy, that's not an easy play there by Schulte, and then to make a good enough throw across the diamond to get him. As Cy Nielsen there, breaking ball for ball 1. And it's 1 ball and no strikes on Cy Nielsen. Nielsen 1 for 2, had a double and also grounded out back in his last plate appearance. It's in there, evens the count up, 1 ball and 1 strike. Spanish Fork has, after today, they won't play again until the 20th, as Nielsen lifts this one out to left. Radha trying to find it, gets under it, makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Spanish Fork will go to Sky Ridge, and they'll play some games on the road, but one of the big ones coming up is going to be on the 22nd. They'll be at Provo for what will be a big non-league contest there against the Bulldogs. That's a Provo team coming out of Region 8. And the breaking ball right there for a called strike. And it's in there to Dylan Lee. Lee is officially going to be, he has a sacrifice and reached on an error. And the pitch, Lee takes that one, and it missed for a ball. The count evens up 1-1. Then they'll get ready for Payson, will be their region opener on the 27th. They'll get Payson and Mountain View. And Lee turns on this one and hooks it well foul. That one onto kind of the infield diamond that sits just down the left field line. It's 1-2 the count here. Pitch on its way, breaking ball. Lee gets under it, lifts it well to center field. It is going to be DeGoyer getting back. He'll make the catch in left center field, and the fourth inning comes to an end. We've played 4 complete here from Dixie State University. It is Spanish Fork 6 and Taylorsville 1. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Christiansen, and Wise.
Well, we head to the top of the 5th inning here at Bruce Hurst Field at Dixie State University. It's Spanish Fork against Taylorsville here in the Red Rock Classic, as teams have been playing here since Thursday late Thursday afternoon. And then yesterday and today they'll wrap it up, as the first pitch to Gabe Johnson's popped sky high onto the infield. It's Dylan Lee who will find it, and he'll make the catch, and there's 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 5th. And that is a high fly ball that sometimes can be tough to find, because the clouds with the white and the gray, trying to catch the white baseball, can be challenging sometimes, as Caleb Schulte swings through it, and it's no balls and a strike here. Schulte's lined out to third and then also had a sacrifice fly. In the 0-1 pitch on its way home is going to be hit down the left field line. This is going to hook foul for Schulte. Once again back onto the practice infield kind of thing, back just down the left field line. The 0-2 pitch, and Schulte goes the other way and drops it in down the right field line. That's going to roll. Over to cut it off is the right fielder Cy Nielsen, and Schulte is standing up on second base with a 1-out double. So a good way to start it if you're Schulte, and now that will bring up third baseman Hunter Smith. Smith has grounded out to third and then also struck out back in the 3rd inning in his latest plate appearance. As Smith stands in. Top of the 5th inning, 6-1 lead here for Spanish Fork, as the pitch comes in and dropped in at the knees for a called strike to Hunter Smith. No balls and a strike to count on Smith. Be Spanish Fork and Timpanogos to follow. 0-1 pitch on its way, breaking ball, stays above the belt for a ball, and the count evens up here, 1 ball and 1 strike on Hunter Smith. Ryan Feeney on the on-deck circle for Taylorsville. Here's the 1-1 pitch on its way. Slow curveball that breaks low and inside for a ball, and it's 2-1 the count here on Hunter Smith. Ready to go. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Slow breaking ball that misses for ball 3. And it's 3 balls and a strike here on Hunter Smith. Running on at second base is going to be Caleb Schulte. Had the double just moments ago for Taylorsville. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Inside and tight, look out. And that hit Hunter Smith, and he will take first base. So Mason Olson now will go out and have a quick word as Timpanogos right now, a quick conference on the mound. Timpanogos starting to get ready a little bit. They are hitting down the cages down the right field line. And Spanish Fork will get, it looks like an arm going down in the bullpen here. The Dons are going to get, that is Brad Cloward, a junior, throwing down in the bullpen here for Spanish Fork, the right-hander throwing here as Ryan Feeney will stand in. Feeney's flown out to left and struck out. And the pitch on its way, Feeney out in front of that one, swings through it, and it snowballs in a strike. The count here on Feeney. One away here in the top of the fifth. This is Taylorsville has been in this position twice already with runners on at first and second, and they've found ways to leave runners on the base paths. The 0-1 pitch on its way, inside and tight for a ball, and the count evens up 1-1. In the second inning, they had runners on at first and second, and then they grounded into a double play that ended that inning. Back in the fourth, they had runners, a couple of runners on the base paths, but Mason Olson was able to get a couple strikeouts, and Feeney now down to the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Ryan Feeney. And the 1-2 pitch on its way home, inside and tight. And they're going to say it missed for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count here on Feeney. Outfield pretty much, well, Riley has shaded a little bit more towards left center field. Here's the 2-2 pitch on its way. Feeney rolls that one, and it's going to be called foul, as I think he fouled that one off his foot. And that is not a comfortable feeling for the next few minutes here for Ryan Feeney. You just drive it right off your foot there, and believe that is Glenn Spencer, the head coach, who will come down from his third base coach's box and have a conversation here with Feeney. As right now, Spanish Fork in a pretty good position here in this one. The Dons losing to American Fork on Thursday night, and then they, I believe, lost last night to Pleasant Grove, if I remember correctly. Okay, couldn't get it done against the Vikings. Pitch on its way, fastball stays high, ball 3, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Darren Henry there at Pleasant Grove has built a pretty competitive baseball program up there in Pleasant Grove. Here's the 3-2 pitch. That one's off the plate and misses for ball 4, and the bases are now full for Taylorsville here in the 5th. The bases are loaded, and Brock DeGoyer will be coming to the plate. So a big opportunity right here for DeGoyer to try to see if he could get something going. And the pitch on its way, inside and tight for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to count here on DeGoyer. Base is full here with 1 away, and the 1-0 pitch to DeGoyer is going to be grounded right back to Olson. He'll get the out at the plate for 1. The throw down to first in time for the 1-2-3 inning-ending double play. Just what the doctor ordered right there. If you're Spanish Fork, find a way to get out of the bases loaded jam, and Taylorsville leaves a couple runners on the base paths right there. The Warriors now with 6 runners being left on base. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning here in southern Utah, where it's a 6-1 lead for Spanish Fork on top of Taylorsville. Let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors who work hard to make each and every broadcast possible. We got 2 Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Dickerson Automotive, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, Michael Chris Jansen and Wise, Attorneys at Law, MVP Sports, and Tony Basso Auto Group. We thank everybody for helping out to contribute to these broadcasts. We can bring you live sports. And speaking of live sports, if you know people that can't tune in to the game within the city of Spanish Fork or outside the city of Spanish Fork, this game's being streamed live on YouTube, youtube.com/SpanishFork17, where you can see the same broadcast as we're putting on right now within the city of Spanish Fork. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Dons will send up Josh Cowden, Dylan Hall, and Sage Olson here against Dylan Healy here in the 5th inning. So Cowden will stand in here from the left side of the plate, looking to try to see here what Josh Cowden can do. The right-hander, Mason Olson, kicks and delivers this one, and the first pitch is in there for strike one. It's 0-1 to Cowden. That one just sitting below the belt down the middle of the plate. Cowden had a triple and came around to score back in the 3rd. And the 0-1 pitch on its way right on the outside corner. It's in there for strike 2, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes here on Josh Cowden. Ready to go. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one, a fastball that stays off the plate for a ball. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Josh Cowden. Here's the 1-2 pitch on its way. Cowden lifts this one into center field. DeGoyer is going to come over, get under it, makes the catch. And there's 1 out here in the 5th. Here's Dylan Hall. Hall 1 for 1, had a single back in the 1st and then walked and came around to score during the 4-run 3rd inning for Spanish Fork. And the pitch on its way to Hall, a breaking ball right on the outside corner. It's no balls and a strike here on Dylan Hall. The 0-1 pitch ready to go, and Hall lifts this one into right. Coming in a few steps is Windward. He'll run under it. He'll make the catch. And there's 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Here is left fielder Sage Olson. Olson has struck out and singled. And that single in the 3rd inning actually brought home a run. And then Olson would come around to score later on in the inning. It's got to be a good sign for Spanish Fork when you're getting production 1 through 9. Olson grounds this one, first pitch to Beckstead at second, bobbles the baseball, hurries the throw, and didn't get him. Taylorsville, I think, thought for sure that he was going to be out. The Warriors were heading off the field, but safe says our first base umpire, and that is going to be an error, I'm sure, against the second baseman. The 3rd Taylorsville Warrior error of the ball game. And with 2 outs in the inning, it will bring up Skylar Horine, the catcher. Horine's been hit by a pitch and hit a ball that was hit hard right at the 3rd baseman, Hunter Smith, in his last at bat. As the fastball misses high for ball 1, 1-0 the count. 6-1 lead for Spanish Fork here in the 5th. Don's trying to get back on the positive side of 1 here at the Red Rock Classic. Pitch inside, and looks like it hit Horine, and he will go down to first base. The thing that's going to bug Glenn Spencer with that one is it's not so much that you lost the hitter, but it's that both of these, the error and then the hit batsman, have come with 2 outs in the inning. After Healy really had worked efficient to get the first 2 outs without really having to throw a lot of pitches, now you get yourself in a little bit of trouble with hitting a guy and then giving up the error. Now obviously Healy can't be held responsible for the error because That was kicked aside by Jordan Beckstead, and that will end the night for Healy here in the 5th inning. So Taylorsville will make a pitching change, and the Warriors are going to go to number 13. That's Parker Alder here, and his first hitter will end up being Riley Hess for Spanish Fork. So Alder will go ahead here and do his warm-up tosses. We want to remind you, coming up, we're anticipating to take about a 20 or so minute break here on Spanish Fork 17. And then we would have the second game of this doubleheader between Spanish Fork and Timpanogos. The break in between, that game is supposed to be scheduled to start around 5 o'clock. And so they'll just take some time to do field prep and get the field ready to go, and then they'll be ready to go and we'll play baseball. So somewhere in the range of 5 o'clock or so. Generally they wouldn't want to start too early, although I could see the advantages that both Spanish Fork and Timpanogos might say to, hey, let's start as soon as we can to kind of cut down how late you're going to get home tonight. For both those, really Spanish Fork and Timpanogos pretty much with about the same amount of drive back home from Spanish Fork from St. George tonight, as Riley Hess will stand in to the batter's box here. Hess has a sacrifice and has a two RBI double that came back in that 3rd inning. The new pitcher, Parker Alder, will take his place on the mound and will be ready to go. Alder, a junior, delivers his first pitch here. Hess shows bunt and pulls it back and takes ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Timpanogos playing a very close ball game before this one with Paulo Verde out of Las Vegas. Here's the 1-0 pitch on its way home. Inside corner and tight for a called strike, and it's 1-1 here on Riley Hess. Timpanogos dropped that game. I believe 4-3 was the final in that one. Here's the 1-1 pitch on its way home to Riley Hess, and that one's again over for a called strike. It's 1-2 the count on Riley Hess. Sage Olson running out on at second base. Noah Conway has re-entered the game to run speed up here for Skylar Horine at first, and the pitch comes in and Hess rolls it foul over towards the Taylorsville dugout. A 6-1 lead right now for Spanish Fork here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 6 runs on 7 hits and 2 errors for the Dons. 1 run on 5 hits and 3 errors for Taylorsville. And the 1-2 pitch. Inside corner, that one missing for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A very close pitch there. Another about 1/4 of an inch the other way. He might have gotten the strike 3 there. Hess a good eye there though to let go. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Alder checks the runner at second and comes in, and Hess hits this one to center. DeGoyer has a beat on it, gets under it, makes the catch, and the 5th inning comes to an end. We've played 5 complete here from Bruce Hurst Field at Dixie State University. It's Spanish Fork 6, Taylorsville 1. You're watching the Red Rock Classic on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Well, we head to the late innings of this one as we start the top of the 6th inning. Taylorsville needing to try to continue what the Warriors have done in the last couple of innings, and that's get runners on base, but then they need to find a way to get those runs to be able to come around to score. Taylorsville having left 2 runners on base in both the 4th and the 5th inning. We'll have Tyler Radha coming up, and if you want to get something going, this part of the lineup, 5 and 6, have been huge for Taylorsville in getting runners on base. Radha has a pair of base hits on the night, or on the afternoon. He takes the first pitch high for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. Jacob Adair on deck, and then Griffin Windward here in the 6th for Taylorsville. The 1-0 pitch on its way home is going to be chopped up the middle, back behind second base. Dylan Hall gets there. His throw to first is going to be scooped out of first by Lee, and there's 1 away. A nice job there by the second baseman, Dylan Hall, to be able to make the nice backhanded play and make a good throw, but Dylan Lee able to scoop it out of first. A nice play all around there for the Dons. And with 1 gone, it brings up Jacob Adair. Adair's reached on an error and then singled as the first pitch misses away for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes here on Adair. The left-hander, Mason Olson, goes to work here. The 1-0 pitch on its way home, fouled straight back, and the count evens up here, 1 ball and 1 strike. Olson ready to go again. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball once again is close, but not going to be close enough for a ball or for a strike. It's 2-1 the count here on the left-handed hitting Adair. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that one's fouled straight back to the screen, and we'll do it over again. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Jacob Adair. Not really very threatening clouds, some darker clouds though off in the distance here. This is a 2-2 pitch, soft line drive hit to short, and coming up with it is Pintar for the second out here of the 6th inning. So with 2 outs, it brings up the right fielder, Griffin Windward. Windward grounded out to the third baseman and also hit into a fielder's choice in his 2 plate appearances here this afternoon. Cloward still getting loose in the bullpen if needed. And the pitch low and inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. The count here on Windward. Taylorsville will see a very competitive Region 3. Is that one in there for a ball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes the count. Something to keep in mind when you look at Taylorsville and you look at that region. There's a check swing. It's going to roll it out to second. Hall up with it, his throw to first in time, and down go the Warriors 1-2-3 here in the 6th. I don't think Windward really meant to swing at that. I think he was trying to hold up and just couldn't and made some contact. As we'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning with a 6-1 lead here for Spanish Fork. Let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors on Spanish Fork 17. We'd like to thank the Tony Basso Auto Group, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, 2 Jacks Pizza, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise, Attorneys at Law, Dickerson Automotive, and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance for everything they make to make these broadcasts possible here this afternoon and throughout our high school sports season. We want to remind you our next live game will come up today at 5 p.m. when the Spanish Fork Dons will take on the Timpanogos Timberwolves in a rematch of last year's 4A state championship game, which should be interesting now that if you were to look today at the potential matchups for the state tournament, that's a matchup that couldn't exist due to some of the region realignments with Spanish Fork staying in 4A and Timpanogos going to 5A. And so it should be a fun and exciting matchup there coming up here at 5 o'clock or so. So just a little over about an hour and 15 minutes away or so from first pitch of that one. Tay Newman will get ready to stand in the box here in the 6th inning for Spanish Fork. The Dons will be looking for some insurance runs here in the 6th inning. I think we had, I'm looking to see here if we have some changes. I don't see any changes, but I saw Glenn Spencer out talking with the home plate umpire And the first pitch from Parker Alders, low for ball one. 1 ball and no strikes here to Tay Newman. Newman's lined out to third, had a sacrifice fly and doubled back in the 5th inning. Alder ready to go, kicks and delivers this one home. That one right there again on the outside corner for a called strike. And the count moves to 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch on its way home. And that one just missing. It looks like a little maybe high, maybe a tad outside for a ball. 2-1, or inside I mean. It's 2-1 here on Tay Newman. Top of the Spanish Fork lineup here in the 6th. And the 2-1 pitch on its way home. Newman bounces this one over towards third. Deep in the hole is Smith. He double clutches the throw, and he's not going to get Tay Newman. The ball will skip away, but right there was Gabe Johnson to back it up. And Tay Newman is aboard here with a base hit. The eighth Spanish Fork hit of the afternoon. Nice job for Newman. And here is Andrew Pintar. Pintar doubled and scored a run, flew out to left, and then also grounded out to short here. And this day did a really nice job here with Andrew Pintar at the plate. Alder ready to go from the stretch, comes in. That one low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. The count here on Pintar. Lots of room in the outfield here at Dixie. Lots of room out there to run. It's a pretty deep outfield too. As Pintar chops that one over towards third. A nice diving attempt there by Hunter Smith, but the ball already went foul and evens the count up. 1 ball and 1 strike here at Andrew Pintar. Sometimes it takes a game or two to really know here exactly how this field's going to play and how the ball's going to carry, especially here because the press box sits up above the field, so you're looking straight down onto it above home plate, which is a nice vantage point. As that one skips away here from Johnson, and moving up is going with the pitch was Tay Newman. He'll get down to second base. But sometimes the ball can kind of deceive you off the bat to see what kind of carry it's going to have. Pintar stands back in. Haven't really had that too much in the, well, this being almost the end of my second game here at Brucehurst Field. Pitch on its way to Pintar. Fastball stays above the belt for a ball. And now it's going to move here. As you see right now, Tay Newman running at second base. Pintar stands back in the box. Ready to go from the stretch is Parker Alder. And now Alder will step off the mound. Alder from the stretch looks then to get the sign from Johnson. Newman gets his lead out at second base. Pintar ready to go in the box. And the 3-1 pitch on its way. Fastball right on the outside corner. This one good for strike 2, and the count I believe is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes here on Andrew Pintar. So Pintar should see something good to hit here. A little bit of pressure here from Parker Alder to make sure he throws a strike. Here's the 3-2 pitch, inside and tight, ball 4, and drawing a free pass is going to be Andrew Pintar here in the 6th inning. Doesn't really kill you if you're Taylorsville right there. Puts a runner on over at first base, and now I think we may have a speed up runner over at first base. It's going to be number 9. That is Morley Bennett, who will come into runs over at first base for Andrew Pintar. Spanish Fork might be trying to get some good speed on the base paths here. Try to push some additional runs across so they get an opportunity. Here's Cy Nielsen. He swings through the first pitch there. No balls and a strike to Keanu. pick up some dirt, rub it on his hands there. Nielsen does not use batting gloves, and so wants to make sure he has a firm grip on the bat. Andrew Pintar now is going to run down to the bullpen, I think. Keep that arm loose here for Spanish Fork. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one misses low for a ball. The count evens up here at 1 ball and 1 strike. So we'll see if Pintar is just warming up, just in a situation of a just-in-case type thing, or whether we're going to see Andrew Pintar come in the 7th inning. 1 ball and 1 strike to count here on Tay Newman. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's right over on the outside corner for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Tay Newman. Tay Newman running on at second base. It's Morley Bennett running over at first here for Spanish Fork. Time called, and stepping off is Parker Alder. Alder has kind of slowed the tempo and pace down of this game from where we were just a few moments ago. Here's the 1-2 pitch on its way. Nielsen pulls it foul down the line, and we'll have another 1-2 pitch coming. Tay Newman running on at second. It's Andrew Pintar at first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. A 6-1 lead for Spanish Fork over Taylorsville. Game 2 set to start around 5 o'clock between Spanish Fork and Timpanogos. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Tay Newman. And Nielsen lifts this one down the line. Going to be a long run. Windward coming over towards the line is going to dive, and he held on to make the catch. Tagging up and going down to third base will be Tay Newman. A long first out there, and a nice heads-up play there by Windward. That's a tough play to make, running over towards the line, having to try to find the baseball, making a good diving catch, and that will bring up Dylan Lee. Lee has a sacrifice fly, reached on an error and scored a run, and flew out to center field in his last at bat. And now he's in another position kind of similar to his first at bat, where he doesn't need to necessarily get the big hit here to get the run home. Pickoff move, diving back safely over to first. It's Morley Bennett. Six-1 lead for Spanish Fork. Lee stands in, slightly open stance, runners on the corners. And the pitch on its way, swung out and missed, and it snowballs and a strike the count here on Dylan Lee. Lee there chasing a breaking pitch that was well off the plate. For Taylorsville in the 7th inning, it's going to be Jordan Beckstead, Gabe Johnson, and Caleb Schulte coming up for the Warriors. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Runner takes off. Lee hits one well to center field, still sending DeGoyer back. He'll make the catch on the warning track, and tagging and coming in to score is Tay Newman from third. It's 7-1 Spanish Fork. So a nice job by Dylan Lee there, just to make sure he found a way to get the run home and really put a charge into one deep to left field. Or deep, to center field. And DeGoyer made a nice play going back on the warning track to come up with a sliding catch. 2 outs, here's Josh Cowden. Cowden's walked, had an RBI triple, and has flown out to center. The pitch on its way right off the plate and missing for ball 1 to Josh Cowden. 1 ball and no strikes on the Spanish Fork designated hitter. Not sure if they just wanted Cowden to swing the bat with playing 2 games straight back to back, or not. Runner takes off. Cowden swings, pulls that right to first. It's gloved by Adair, and that will end the 6th inning. Spanish Fork gets 1, however, in the 6th. They extend their lead out to 7-1 Dons. We head to the 7th after the break here on Spanish Fork 17.
Wild Mustangs. They're supposed to be one of the most gentle creatures in nature.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these. That's why more people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm.
Call State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Well, we head to the 7th inning here at Dixie State University right now. Taylorsville trailing Spanish Fork by a score of 7-1 as we play the top of the 7th inning here. And I think we're going to have some pinch hitters coming up for Taylorsville, as we're going to have number 36, that's Tyson Remington, is going to stride to the plate here to face Mason Olson here in the 7th. So we'll have Remington hitting in the spot for what would have been Jordan Beckstead. So Remington will stand in from the right side. Ready to go here against Mason Olson, who tries to go the distance today. And the fastball misses off the plate for ball one. 1 ball and no strikes the count here on Mason Olson. Olson, outside of giving up the run in the 3rd, has given up a hit here and there, but only 5 on the afternoon. And the pitch, that one going to miss for a ball. It's quickly 2-0 the count here on Remington. Gabe Johnson is in the on-deck circle for Taylorsville, as the Warriors right now really just need some base runners. The 2-0 pitch misses outside ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Before you really can think about coming from behind in a 6-1, or coming from behind from 6, really you need base runners to open that up. The 3-0 pitch in there for a called strike. Three balls and 1 strike to count. The pitch on its way is going to be fouled back to the screen. And the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Tyson Remington. Here's the 3-2 pitch on its way to Remington here, and that one's lifted into right center field. Coming over is Nielsen in right center field. He'll make the catch, and there's 1 away here in the 7th inning on the fly ball out. So that will bring up the catcher, Gabe Johnson. Johnson 1 for 2, has a single, and then also has hit a high infield pop-up that the first baseman, Dylan Lee, was able to get to record the first out of the 5th inning. Pitch on its way, Johnson in there, and he takes ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes, the count. This ball game not taking, right now, it's just about an hour and 32 minutes to play. We've had a quick pace. Even the game before, the Timpanogos Palo Verde game, was a very quick tempo game. The 2-0 pitch is swung through and missed, and it's 2 balls and a strike here on Gabe Johnson. I'm not sure if that's being done by design by the tournament directors to say, hey, let's not take as little, let's take as little time as possible so we can get out of here at a reasonable time. And that one's going to be caught by the first baseman, Dylan Lee, and there's 2 outs. Because you think of it, that would be a logical explanation, and they do have some rules in high school baseball where they can kind of speed up the games to a certain extent. As now that will bring up Caleb Schulte, and Taylorsville is down to their final out. Schulte's doubled, has a sacrifice fly, is lined out to 3rd, and there he pulls this one foul. It's no balls and a strike to count here on Schulte. Timpanogos is heading down. They're going to start getting warm for the game in an hour. Schulte hits this one out to left. Coming over is Hess. He'll give way to Olson, who makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Spanish Fork has defeated the Taylorsville Warriors by a final of 7-1. We'll take a break here on Spanish Fork 17. When we come back, we'll wrap this one up, have some short closing comments, and our MVP Sports MVP of the game. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Come to Dickerson Automotive for all your car repair and maintenance needs. Now is a great time to make sure your car is ready for these cold winter months. We take the time to get to know you and your car to give you peace of mind. Dickerson Automotive, located way north on Main in Spanish Fork.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Wild Mustangs. They're supposed to be one of the most gentle creatures in nature.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these. That's why more people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm.
Call State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Christiansen, and Wise.
Well, the Spanish Fork Dons take care of business in Game 1. As you see the Dons right now having some quick after-game conversation. They'll get ready for their second game of the day, coming up in about an hour from now against the Timpanogos Timberwolves. But here in this one, really, Spanish Fork brought the lumber. When they were able to get their offense going early, the big 4-run third inning really opened this one up. And then really it was the pitching of Mason Olson that kept the Taylorsville bats at bay, and they were able to find a way to come up with a big victory to end Game 1 by a score of 7-1 over Taylorsville. A very happy group right now for Spanish Fork. I'm sure now they'll get ready to take on the Timpanogos Timberwolves. Our MVP Sports MVP of the game goes to Mason Olson, who goes the distance, a complete game for Olson. Only allowed the 1 run and only allowed about 5 hits in the meanwhile. Really did a nice job of keeping the Taylorsville bats at bay. Spanish Fork picks up a big win, playing up 2 classifications against 6A Taylorsville. And now they'll get ready to take on the Timpanogos Timberwolves. It might be the game in this tournament that a lot of people have been waiting for. Spanish Fork and Timpanogos coming up at 5 o'clock here on Spanish Fork 17. We will say so long until then. We got T-Wolves and Dons coming up here on Spanish Fork 17.